What's up, y'all? Lance Williams here with We Will Studios, and if you haven't watched the full video yet, it's on my personal IG page. Highly recommend watching it, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, let's get started. Okay. So this idea came from the song "Rip" by Miguel. On his latest album called Chaos. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't heard it, go ahead and check it out. You know what I'm saying? Good album, good song. When I first heard the song, immediately I really liked how different it was. Like there was like aspects of it that I was not expecting to be in a song together, like at all. But I really love the feeling it gave of like chaos and like I don't like when the weight bears down. Like I really loved the part when the guitars first come in and you're just in this whole chaotic type feeling part of the song. Like I don't know what it was. It was just something about that really stuck with me, and it really stood out whenever I was first listening to it. I really liked that part. And whenever I was first coming up with this idea, there was this, whenever that part came up, the part of me just like in the video, that part was always there. That always stuck with me. And then from there, it was just a matter of like, okay, what's going to be happening before and what's going to be happening after that event. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just like when I first heard it, I just really loved how it made me feel. I just love the feeling of the guitars, the chaos, the it almost feels like your rage. Like you just have like a lot of rage and you just want to let it out, right? So that's kind of like what stuck with me when I first heard it. Whenever, for all of my shorts, honestly, music plays such a big part into it. Like every single short I made, it's whatever song I use in it is where the idea for the short came from. There's something beautiful about music being just what it is, like in the fact that you can listen to it and it can just make images come into your head. You can be, I don't know, you can literally just be chilling, listening to a song about, I don't know, somebody crazy love life. But then in your head, you just think about, I don't know, just random visuals and stuff like that. Sometimes I be thinking when I listen to a certain song, I be like, I feel like the music video would look like this. You know what I'm saying? Because in my head, that's kind of what it feels, looks like, or whatever. But then whenever I go see the music video of whatever song it is, I'm like, okay. Okay. I mean, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel like in a way, these random shorts are all kind of just random music videos that just so happen to also have a message in them as well. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe a random short other than the fact that they're random and they're short. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool, So yeah, shout out to music. I love music. Now, mind you, I don't want you guys to think that as soon as I listen to the song, the whole video idea came to me and boom, everything was just in my head and all I need to do was film that. I don't want you to think that at all, because that's not how it came. Whenever I first was coming up with this video idea, it was actually supposed to go a completely different way. It was originally supposed to be called Embrace It, where in a way, whenever you're so full of something you love or something you're passionate about so much, and it's just bottled up, you have to let it out. You know what I'm saying? And basically, that's kind of what I originally wanted the idea to kind of be around. Embracing the thing that you love so much and just letting it out, and me doing the whole you know what I'm saying, it was just gonna be like more from like a positive standpoint rather than what it was. And yeah, but unfortunately that idea didn't get made, just because of the fact that eventually I got into a state of deep procrastination. Literally, I had written out the note cards and everything, like I had it all planned out, but for some reason when it came to making it, I don't know. It just wasn't there for me. So I just ended up procrastinating a lot on it. I want to say also because of the fact that I had a lot of client work going on too, that also took away from me even being able to, make the idea and everything like that. So it just really just brought me into this place of like, golly, the idea is just sitting there. It just wasn't getting made. But at the same time, me going through all those ups and downs, I would say, with the client work, and basically that whole stage was just a lot for me. There was like a good few couple months that I was just having like a lot of back to back content. Client work, and that stuff really took it out of me. Like that was like the first time I've just felt very drained from what I do, and kind of like not feel fulfilled by it. It was just a lot on me during that time. And I think that also played a very big role in me procrastinating on the idea, because it's like, as much as I wanted to make content, it just never felt right to do it because I was so stressed. I was so exhausted all the time. So it's just like, I felt cooked. I felt really cooked. I feel like me going through all of that led me to the idea of what the video is now. Because of the fact that from all the ups and downs, mostly a lot of the downs that I experienced during those times, it eventually got me to this point where I was just filled up with so much anger and frustration. And that came up with the idea for Scream, because it's like, what is something you should do when you're fully built up with a lot of anger, frustration, whatever, stress, whatever? For me, sometimes I just need to scream. You know what I'm saying? I'll grab a pillow, and then that kind of just makes me feel better, because I had to let something out. But so that's what eventually led to this idea. So honestly, in a way, if I never procrastinated and went through, that hard few couple months or whatever, the idea wouldn't have came to be the way it was. So I'm actually glad that it did work out the way it did. And when you think about it, that's a beauty of creativity. Sometimes the timing of it just isn't right, and it's meant to be made after you experience some things, It's beautiful. In all honesty, what really brought this whole idea together for the most part was definitely the message behind it. But at the same time, that changed too. You know what I'm saying? So the first message was originally going to be, hey, if you have a lot of pimped up excitement, happiness, or energies for something that you're truly happy and passionate about, let it out, share it. Don't be afraid to look crazy or whatever. Just share it however it may be, look, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That was the original idea around that whole thing, like something like that. But eventually, throughout the creative process, it changed into something else. Of course, I didn't mention how it changed into what it is about the whole, if you have a lot of anger and everything like that, scream, let it out. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, sometimes in life we have a lot going on and we need to scream. But that ended up changing. Like, yes, of course, that is something you can take away from that experience. Goodness gracious. The whole screaming idea is something you can take away and be like, oh, that's a message. If you're frustrated, everything, scream. Yes, that's true. But ultimately, that's not even the message of this whole thing. It's not. So that's something we're going to talk about later in the video. But yeah, I just wanted to say, hey, things change sometimes in the creative process. You can go into something one way thinking, oh, this is going to be the idea. This is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to look. This is what I'm going to talk about. But for some reason, some way, somehow, things change. And that's okay. It might be for the better. You never know. Okay, so this is the fun part for me personally. I love pre-production. I love pre-production so much. So this is my analog table, my planning, like, everything I do when it comes to making a video, I start here on this table. So basically, for every video that I make, I like to use note cards. I kind of plan out the whole process, and I would just write whatever I need to help make the idea come out as best as possible. So, for instance, I have Scream right here. You know what I'm saying? I got Scream. And behind it, I write out, just write out what the idea is and the idea of like what I'm trying to go for, right? So for this one, it's this short is letting go of your past failures, or in my case, letting go of how bad 2025 was for me. Going into this year, I think it's important to let out the frustration, scream it out, and forget about it as you move into the new year. Damn near act like the past failures no longer existed because you've already released them. Getting into the idea, I go to my record player and put on the new Miguel record Caos. I want my living room and write as, wait, what? Okay, my bad. Golly, I'm tripping. I'm like, what, bro? I was just writing. So okay, I go to my record player and put on the new Miguel record Caos. I walk to my living room and right as I get there, I sit down. The song Rip comes on. Multiple shots of me being stressed, exhausted, and tired come up with the music. A voiceover is heard asking, "What do you do with your failures?" Boom. Okay. But yeah, so from there, I just go on and write out every single thing that, and like, mind you, as I'm writing this stuff out, I got the music in my ear. I'm over here just like, listening to it like crazy. So, hey, for however many listens or whatever that's on that song, I'm responsible for at least 25-50%, you know what I'm saying, just being 100. So yeah, I just write out everything from how I see it to what's happening, and I just write it all out in a way to where I'll never forget it. I feel like we all know what we need to write and how we need to write it to where it just sticks with us, right? So that's what I did. Also, fun fact, I don't let no electronic touch this table ever. I don't let my phone touch it. I don't let my iPad touch it. I don't even let a battery touch it, just because I got this whole idea of like having an analog table, like a table where you kind of put your hands on the process of whatever you're working on. Came from this book called Show Your Work by Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. And yeah, now I have this desk, dedicated solely to like putting my hands on the project of every project that I work on. While back there, is where I just do it the regular way, just digitally, everything digital. But right here, I really like this because it really makes me feel like I'm putting my hands on the project, and I love that. So yeah, just have to let y'all know. So, but yeah, the song was the thing that made all of these ideas come to mind. And literally, it was just a matter of just listening and just letting whatever come up, and you just analyze it, write it out, go from there. Literally, the music and the feeling that the music gives you, or at least in this case gave me, was literally everything that I needed to, come up with this whole idea. So whenever I start out a random short or whatever, like I said, I just write out the idea and every single point, like every single thing that's happening. And then from there, if there's like little extra things, like right here, this is all the voiceover stuff, like all the things that I wrote, like said in the video right here, all my voiceover lines. And then right here, this is like all of the shot list, like all the shots that I did, just writing out, making sure I got every single shot written out in there as well. I wouldn't necessarily say that there needs to be like a, first, second, third type way. I honestly feel like however the idea comes to you, follow it. You know what I'm saying? If you need to start with a voiceover first, that's fine. If you need to start with a shot list first, that's fine. If you need to start with, I don't know, whatever feels right, and that's just what you need in that moment, go for it, write it out. You know what I'm saying? That's completely fine. I don't think there's anything about creativity that's quote unquote, you follow a structure and it just works that way. I mean, other than, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, actually, no. Creativity, I don't really think you can just first, second, third, fourth. Like, I don't think that's how it works. I feel like the thing about creativity is there's no boundaries. Sometimes it can go all over the place, but at the end of the day, it comes to something beautiful. So yeah, go crazy. So, and when it came to writing the voiceover, honestly, whenever I listen to certain songs, there's this thing that this thought process I have where I'm like, wow, it feels like something like this would be said in this song, or, oh, it feels like this type of line like would be said if this was used in a movie. And in this case, literally the first thing that came to mind whenever I was like, listening to the song and coming up with the idea was, what do you do with your failures? That was literally the first the first words that came to me, right? And then I was like, hold on, like this could work. And then from there, I just listened to the song. and I'm saying the what do you do with your failures part, and literally I'm just letting my thoughts, my feelings of whatever that line is guide me to the next things to say. And as I'm listening to the song, I'm just saying each of the lines to make sure, they line up to the right parts, they feel right being said in certain parts too. And yeah, it all came together so well. I'm so happy with everything I said, because I really feel like whenever I was writing this, I was, really being vulnerable. I was really being open. I was being honest about a lot of things, especially like it was being my golden year. And, the what do you do with your failures? The ones that, you try your hardest not to define yourself by. I had a problem with having failures. And whenever those failures happen, I'd be like, dang, maybe I am a failure. But that's never the right thing to do. I would say even the thing when I got into, me pushing people away unintentionally, that was me being vulnerable about that. Jobs and people draining me. Being consistent with inconsistent people. Like, I was just being so honest with everything in the voiceover, because I feel like all of those things made up why 2025 didn't feel that much of a success for me, And with this being a video talking about all your pimped up anger, frustration, everything, I think it's so important to write out every single thing that you're feeling and find a way to kind of like weave it into the video, weave it into the voiceover as best as I could. So, it came out the way that it did. And I'm really am glad that it did. When it came to the part where I was just like, I need to release it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That part, I feel like I had the hardest time with writing out, because for some reason, I was like, whenever I first came up with the idea, of course, I had the little, I had that part, right? But putting words to it, I never thought about that until like in this current moment. So sometimes, in the night, you can get to a point to where you're kind of stuck. But I just kind of like, I'm saying, let me just chill, relax, keep listening to the music, keep trying things, and maybe something will stick eventually. Maybe something will stand out eventually. If you need to take a break, that's cool too. Something will come to you, something will come to you so long as you keep trying to find what's supposed to be coming to you. And when I say trying, I'm not saying like, oh, you're just actively thinking or whatever like that. Sometimes you just need to let go and just let it all come to you on its own, But I feel like when I say trying, that's also what I mean as well, because you're trying your best to try not to find the answers to everything, because I feel like sometimes things just aren't in your control, and that's fine, but it's just sometimes you got to try to not try so the idea can come to you. I hope that makes sense. The last and final part, I want to say the part that really came to me last minute was the part where I said, I learned that it's best to let sleeping dogs lie. Now, I'm going to get into that part later when we get into the message. But yeah, it was so fun putting all of this together. And I love my note cards. I love this table. I just love everything about this table. And yeah, so for everybody out there, try an analog table. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to have like a whole desk or anything like this. Just have a space where you have no electronics. You're not doing nothing electronically. You're just doing it straight up old school writing, pen, paper, whatever it may be with what you do, just so you can put your hands in the process of whatever it is you're making. So yeah, let's move on. So when it came to filming the whole thing, the filming process, the first day that I first started filming everything, I started at the vinyl, started getting all of those shots. I want to say all the way up until I was sitting right before I almost, started turning up and everything like that. That was like a really good night of filming, and especially because my vinyl, I love my vinyl records, man. Wait, oh my gosh, I'm not even supposed to be filming here. Oh my gosh. Okay, false alarm. I was supposed to be filming right here, and that's it. So we're all good. I almost lost my mind. But anyway, So first night I filmed over there by my vinyl record setup. And I was very happy about doing that just because of the fact that I love music, I love my record setup. And that was like the first time I was able to make some type of video to kind of like showcase, oh, the process like that I go through every time I put on a record. I really love that. So that was a lot of fun. And then from there, just went ahead and filmed a lot of the, like me being upset scenes and everything, all the way up until I started, turning up and going crazy, right? After that night, I'm not gonna lie, because that night it was like, had to be like 4 or 5, maybe 6 in the morning. The sun started coming up. I was exhausted. I was like, okay, this is a stopping point. Let's go ahead and film the rest tomorrow. From there, then next thing you know, I did not film the next day. And then the next day after that, I didn't film. And I was just like coming to myself. I was like, Lance, what are you doing? Get this video done. You have to film. You have to film. You have to film. Yeah, it was just insane. I don't know why. I was like, why did I not film these other couple days? Then suddenly after the second day that I missed filming, I had like a like one-on-one talk with myself. The big lesson that I learned last year was do the hard thing, because everything you want is on the other side of doing the hard things. After learning that lesson, I've really been on a constant reminder of, okay, is this a situation where I want the outcome? You know what I'm saying? Like, say for instance, I want a clean house. So what's on the other, like, what do I have to go through in order to have a clean house? You got to get through the hard thing of doing all the cleaning, all the whatever, whatever you got to do. It's going to be hard, but you got to do it. Regardless of how you feel, you still got to do it. It was one night, I want to say, me and the bros just finished playing Marvel Rivals, or was it FIFA? One of the two. I don't know. We had just finished playing the game, and I want to say it was about 2, 3 in the morning at this point. And so very easily I could have, been like, oh, dang, I'm feeling tired. I don't know. This is not going to happen tonight. But there was a really big part of me that knew this has to be done. Like, all the filming has to be done tonight, so I can literally use the weekend to film, like to edit everything and then go from there. So immediately I thought about that whole concept. Everything you want is on the other side of doing the hard things. And after thinking about that, I don't know what came over me, but something just made me be like, okay, I need to lock in, get this thing done tonight. So immediately I went to my office, and then I went ahead and started making the shot list. I wrote down every single shot that I needed for every single part that I had left to film for this video. Literally, I want to say even doing that part was difficult. I'm not going to lie. It was like my feelings were like, oh, let's relax. Let's do nothing. Let's just chill. But I wanted that outcome. I really wanted that outcome. I really wanted that end result of me completing this thing, right? So in order to do that, I just kept, no, Lance, come on. So I'm in my office, have my headphones on. I'm just writing on the note cards, all the shots and everything like that. And eventually I got it done. But then I had to film everything. And mind you, I want to say I had a good amount of shots on those note cards too. So it was like, okay, I had a lot to film, but at the same time, if I can, you can knock them off depending on whatever. It's not like they were crazy hard shots. Like all of my shots are mostly static, but it's just a matter of, me having to pick up my camera, move it here, move it there. And then me remembering, oh yeah, let me go ahead and make sure I'm doing the right actions and everything. And let me make sure that I'm in focus. And it was just a lot, right? But I did it. I did it all in one night. And let me tell you guys this. And I want y'all to really memorize this whole thing, because when you do the hard thing for something you really want, it is so worthwhile after you do it. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Your body can feel a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that the things that it's feeling isn't always right. Yeah, I might not feel like doing the dishes, but I know it is important to do the dishes. Just because it feels like I shouldn't doesn't mean that it's wrong to do the dishes. You know what I'm saying? Just because it didn't feel right to finish this video doesn't mean that it's right to not do the video. You know what I'm saying? So I say this because once I finished filming that video, I can't tell you guys how rewarding it felt. It felt so good to just be able to be like, wow, I got out of my own way and finished what I wanted to finish. It felt so good to do that. So for everybody out there, I know, yeah, willpower can be hard to, have in certain situations. That's very true. But I'm telling you, it is so rewarding when you kind of like just get out of your own way, muster up the willpower, everything that you can to fight that feeling you have, and do it anyway. Everything is on the other side of doing the hard thing. Everything you want is on the other side of doing hard thing. So do the hard thing. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because literally I was so proud of myself and I felt so good. And literally once you do it one time, it's so much easier to do it. Like even right now, normally I would not be up, about to make a YouTube video, all this other stuff. But it's like after I did it that one time, it's so easy. It's like a muscle up. You do it one time, you can do it anytime you want to after that. So yeah, do the hard thing. Do the hard thing. That's all I gotta say. Let's move on. All right, here we go. So when it came to the editing process, I want to say that felt so fun. Like, I want to say I had the most fun putting this thing together, because I want to say this was the first time in a long time where I was editing and I just felt like I didn't care. Like I wasn't trying to be perfect. I wasn't trying to be, I don't know. I just wasn't trying to overthink. I just was having fun with the process for once. And it's been a long time since I've done that. Literally the whole time putting this whole thing together from start to finish. It was like for certain parts, I know exactly how I had them, in mind. You know what I'm saying? I know exactly how I wanted them to be in my mind. And those were easy. Even the ones that I didn't know, like the ones I had to figure the stuff out, it was even fun just trying stuff out. Okay, if it didn't work, okay, cool. At least it led me to something else that looked good. And I'm like, oh, I like how that looked, So it was just really fun just figuring it out, trying something. It didn't work. Okay, but it led me to something that did work. Like, it was just great. I just had so much fun. And I'm going to make sure I do that every single time. No matter what, everything I work on, I'm going to do that every single time, because I feel like that really makes the process so much enjoyable. I feel like it makes the project better. I just really feel like having fun with everything you do is everything. So yeah, the editing process was so good. Just so I can get, a little bit into, like some of the parts I'm talking about that where like, oh, they didn't even go as planned. You know what I'm saying? Some of the parts that I had to figure out, I want to say a majority of those were definitely like, say, this part right here. This happened on accident. This shot right here happened on accident. I want to say this whole part right here, whenever I was like figuring out how upset and frustrated and angry I looked, I didn't exactly have shots in mind. I was just like, hey, I need shots of me looking mad. So I literally would put the video up. I would literally just put the camera there in different weird random angles, and I would just film myself being upset and stuff. Like with how this part right here, with how the camera's kind of doing like a little slow pan thing, that literally was on accident. My camera, for some reason, was doing that on its own. I had set it up. It was supposed to be static, but the camera just was like doing its own thing. I was like, hey, let's use that real quick. You know what I'm saying? So it came out really good and I really loved it. A lot of the cuts and stuff like that, it felt right to kind of just have it cut to the music. That was really cool. Even the parts like this where I was able to use pictures and stuff like that. I don't know what it was, but ever since I got my Fuji camera, I just want to make sure I put pictures into my videos in some way, shape, or form, because I feel like some pictures really just have a way of telling 1,000 things in just one picture, So being able to just show a lot of the emotions and feelings and thoughts just from the pictures being told, it's so cool, And I want to make sure I always do that. And it was just fun figuring that out, putting that over the vinyl spinning and everything in some of these shots. It was so good. I loved it. I love it. It's so good. But yeah, where I really had the most fun, this shot right here, when I was, it was me and my other two versions of myself. These versions of myself represent, you know, the one on the left is more so the part that's mad at myself and just wants to be hard on myself. And the other part of me is the part of me that kind of just wants to be sad, upset, stationary, just kind of like settling, right? And I'm just in conflicted on which one I want to be. And both of them are just getting on me, you know what I'm saying? Well, this one is definitely getting on me, but this one is kind of just there, you know what I'm saying? Just being like, dang, I really don't like how the situation is, but hey, what am I gonna do about it? So this is me trying to decipher, okay, which do I want to be, either or do I want to step away from those? I think that's also why I had to both kind of get away from me, because I think me releasing it is me releasing those versions of myself, because I feel like those versions of myself would not have handled the situation best, you know? For this part right here, whenever I started going crazy and then I had the camera shaking, I knew I wanted to make the situation feel very chaotic, very angry. And originally it was static, but I knew having it static was not going to be the thing that like really emulates the anger and the chaos. You know what I'm saying? So while I was editing, I was like, let me just try a camera shake. And mind you, I don't like adding camera shake in the editing process. I would highly, highly prefer having the camera have the normal handheld shake. You know, I don't like having handheld shake in editing, but in this case, I had to just try some out, and I did. And in my opinion, it worked. Like, I really liked how I had a slow little gradual growth right here, where it's slowly, it was like small, but then it started growing. You know, I used keyframes, and then the whole time after that, I just had camera movement, and it was just doing that throughout this whole segment right here, just to kind of like add on to the chaos and make sure everything doesn't look, I don't know, static and still, because it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's clearly not. Also, by the way, I meant to say this. I know that I'm kind of like showing this from a different perspective because of the fact that, like, you know, I don't have my timeline up. Unfortunately, all the footage and stuff that's tied to the timeline is currently being used to film my camera right now. So I can't have them both on the computer and on the camera at the same time. But if y'all do want to see the timeline and I kind of like run through the timeline as I explain the thing and everything like that, instead of explaining it like this, definitely let me know, because I have no problem doing that. And I'll find a way, you know what I'm saying? Also, even if there is a certain part that y'all want me to kind of like, I don't know, talk about, I can easily just make a short, you know, and then just put it up and then have it be there. So just let me know. I got you. So when it came to the slow motion stuff, this part right here, I honestly was not planning for this segment part at all. It kind of just felt right. You know, I wanted this part of the video to kind of have focus on the words, but also the visuals kind of like matching it to not take so much away from the words, you know. I feel like this is the most important part of the whole message. Just kind of like letting sleeping dogs lie and everything like that. I really feel like this segment right here, where I just have the slow motion, it didn't take away from the words that were being said. If anything, it just kind of just showed more of like my anger and everything like that. But the voiceover in a way kind of helps viewers kind of be like, okay, even though yes, this is like what you're going through and everything like that, it's like showing the lead up to what is to come, like showing the lead up to the solution to the problem, you know. And it was so fun putting this part together, just seeing all the cool shots and everything in slow motion. Now, mind you, when I put the camera up, because mind you, I didn't plan this. I did not plan this at all. I literally just put the camera up in random spots, and I just was doing. It was so weird, and I remember being like, "Bro, what am I doing? This doesn't make any sense." But I was like, hey, I feel like I can make it work. I think I can. And I really feel like I did. I feel like I had a lot of fun at this point. And I think this is also a really good segue into the message of this whole video. Because the rest of the video, all planned out. You know, all of this stuff was planned. But I want to say the real message of this video came from this book I'm reading. It's called Psycho Cybernetics, right here, by Maxwell Maltz. And yeah, this book is the truth. It has helped me learn so much about self-image, the importance of self-image, how much self-image plays into your day-to-day, how you show up for your work, your everything. You know, everything plays into your self-image, because how you view yourself emulates into your actions, into the work. You know what I'm saying? It's like an internal thing to external thing. And I feel like when I first started reading this book, this is something I really need to learn and work on with myself. And I came across the whole section that did literally talk about let sleeping dogs lie. Because the whole idea behind letting sleeping dogs lie is that if you experience failure and error, humiliation, something like that, you learn from it. And once you gained what you needed from that failure, you move on. You just forget it ever existed. For the longest, I've been the type of person to where if a failure or something like that happened, I would kind of sit on it a little bit longer than I need to. And I would give it more power over myself. You know, I would give it so much more power to the point to where I'll be upset the whole day, or, you know, upset for the rest of the week. Okay, good example. When I play FIFA, for those who know, you know, I can't tell you how many times errors or I lose a game or stuff out of my control happens and I lose happens, and I get so upset about it. I carry that on to the next game and the next game, and then I start losing over and over and over and over. And next thing you know, you're on the verge of crashing out. I don't mean for that to happen, but you know it does. It's hey, we're human. It's part of the process. But when it comes to this whole part about let sleeping dogs lie, the best thing you can do for yourself is, because failures, they're inevitable. They're gonna happen. But the thing about them is you can always learn something from them. So whenever you learn what you need to learn from it, take away, hey, it served its purpose, and then forget about it, move on, and just keep what you learned. You know, that's literally all you can do. I want to read like a particular part about it that kind of like really stuck with me. It says, our errors, mistakes, failures, and sometimes even our humiliations were necessary steps in the learning process. However, they were meant to be means to an end and not an end in themselves. When they have served their purpose, they should be forgotten. I even put that in the video. If we consciously dwell on the error or consciously feel guilty about the error and keep berating ourselves because of it, then unwittingly, the error or failure itself becomes the goal that is consciously held in imagination and memory. And that's what I mean. Same thing with the FIFA thing. If I kept holding on to the failure that happened in one game, that's going to be the main focus in every single game after that. And I'm going to lose every time. So I don't want to do that. And then it led on to this other thing that I feel like really, really like hits home with the importance of not holding on to failure. It says the unhappiest of mortals is that man who insists on reliving the past over and over in imagination, continually criticizing himself for past mistakes, continually condemning himself for past sins. I don't want to be unhappy. I don't think any of us want to be unhappy. I feel like we all want to live life to the fullest. And the more we hold on to failures and things that have happened in the past, and we just keep digging a deeper hole for ourselves in them, the more and more we're like distancing ourselves from ourselves, and also just distancing ourselves from living the type of life that we really want, the one that we dream of having, the one we constantly work towards having, you know? And I feel like, hey, when something happens, there's no point of holding on to it, because the longer you do, it's going to hurt you. Now, mind you, I know everybody's process of like handling failures and everything like that is different. Don't get me wrong. And I completely respect that. And I feel like everybody's process is going to be different. But I feel like at least just thinking about this perspective can kind of help make the process of you processing shorter than it originally was. You know, like you wouldn't normally hold on to something longer than you normally would, because you think about it differently because of this perspective. So yeah, that was editing. So last but not least, this is going to be just like a little bit of a reiteration of not only the message, but just kind of like how I interpreted it for myself, and how I'm going to go about it for this year, but also to kind of like reiterate it to all the creatives out there who are on this journey as well. For myself, I almost went into 2025 with this whole feeling of, dang, I had another year of, not really much progress. Like I almost let all the failures, all the letdowns and times I've been hard on myself, and all of that stuff dwell on me so much to the point that I almost went into 2026 with that mentality. But the thing is, I'm so glad that I made this video, because it really helped me realize that not only am I going into 2026 a better person, but it also helped me realize that I am stronger than all the failures and stuff like that I go through. I realize that failures are inevitable. There's no way we can avoid them. We can do everything we can. We can try to be as perfect as we can. They're still going to come up in one way, shape, or form, And even though that is true, and sometimes it's out of our control, when they do happen, I feel like at the end of the day, the fact that we do have the control of how we handle those failures, those moments, the ups, the downs, and all that, the bad stuff, I want to say. The fact that we have the control of how we go about those, I think, is an amazing thing that we definitely need to tap into. I feel like the fact that negativity, for some reason, is so easy to dwell in is something that we really need to make sure we're safe from. It could be very easy to be hard on yourself. It can be very easy to look back on the things that didn't go right in your life and just dwell on them, and then just think about, dang, what if I didn't do things that way? Or dang, what if this event went a different way? It could be very easy to go about it that way. But like I learned from the book, and like I said in the video, we got to let sleeping dogs lie. We have to. Otherwise, we're going to be hurting ourselves. We're going to be hurting our creative careers. We're going to be hurting all the growth and progress we're going to be making on this journey. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. So I just wanted to kind of like say this part to kind of just say to all the creators out there that's on this journey, because we're on this journey together, let sleeping dogs lie. Yes, if you go through something, take your time to understand why it happened, but also figure out what you can take away from it to be better moving forward. And then from there, just drop it. Forget it ever existed, and just move forward in your life as this person that had just learned something new to be better. I feel like that is the best thing we can do for ourselves in our creative journeys, because despite failures being one of the biggest parts of any journey, the fact that we can use them as stepping stones to get further on our journey, I think is a super beautiful thing. And at the heart of this whole random short, that's what it means. It's like being able to, take the failures that we experience, we process them, we understand them, and then we get to a point to where they don't matter anymore, because we took away something that's going to help us be better moving forward. We have everything in our hands to make 2026 the best year for us, and make all the other years after that exactly the same way. So I just wanted to say that before I conclude this video, and just let y'all know, hey, we got this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got this. You are stronger than your failures. You're stronger than your past mistakes. None of them things define you. So yeah, keep going strong. But yeah, this is Lance Williams for We Will Studios. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and made it to the end. I know I did a lot of yapping, but I don't know. I'm passionate about this stuff. I can't help it. I can't help it. I probably would have been talking way longer on some of these parts if I had to, if if it was like that. But you know, hey, we gotta make sure things are cool, cut, short. So yeah, but I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video if you got this far. Please let me know if you guys like these types of videos, because this is something different. And yeah, because I honestly would be happy to do more of these. I really love them. But yeah, this is Lance from We Will Studios. Be on the lookout for more content from us coming this year. And yeah, remember, I will, you will, we will. All right, y'all. Let's get it.